Welcome, everybody, to the after election expendable show. And Shauna Simpson, she officially may or may not have cast a phenomenal vote. And I'm not going to say who she voted for. I already know, but I got to protect her anonymity amongst her family members. But Donald Trump, the 42nd president. And as so I'm extremely excited about this, and we're going to go through that today and talk about who, what, where, when, and why, and how. So first, let's get to business. If you like my show, please like and subscribe and ding the bell so you get notifications every time I put out something ridiculous. I don't know what that means, but we'll do it. Second business. So my book, for those of you who follow me, maybe you haven't seen it yet, but my book is available that I just put out. It's available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, along with my publisher's page, which is Archway Publishing. So buy my book so I can be a New York Times bestseller, and then maybe I'll get invited to Mar-a-Lago. Who knows? But there's my book. I'm very proud of it. And so I was a little worried when I wrote the book. I thought, you know what? If Trump wins, does that nullify the content of my book? And so I thought about it, and I realized it doesn't. So just because Kamala Harris lost, and the plan that is in play in my book is still in play, even though Donald Trump's president. So what we need to do as Americans is understand what that plan is, and we still have to resist it because the power brokers of the world weren't up for election. Kamala Harris was. So we have to make sure that we really dig into that and really start to, understand that push is still happening. They're not going to stop trying just because Kamala Harris didn't get elected. They're just going to try to do it in different ways, like through holdings and investors and lobbyists and things like that. They're going to try to buy their way into it like they have been for the last, 20 or 30 years. So go out and buy my book, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and everywhere else you can buy books. I think I have to check, see if Walmart's got it yet, but usually they covered my other books, so we'll see. So I'm going to take that down. And stop the screen. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty. What happened and how it happened. So as of right now, and I think Arizona still has yet to certify, but Donald Trump is up 295 electoral delegates to Kamala Harris's 225. So in the political world, that's an ass whooping. That's a blowout. That's like a running clock in the fourth quarter. She got beat bad. Not only that, but she also got beat in the popular election. Trump pulled in about 72 million votes. Kamala Harris pulled in about 67 million. So that's about a 5 million. That's bad, especially for a Democrat when you know you're guaranteed you're going to get millions just out of California and New York. So Trump still pulled off the popular vote win. That tells me so many things. And we're gonna dig right into that and find out why. So now let me go through the Senate real quick. I'm gonna do the Senate and the House, and then we'll start dissecting more. But the Republicans do now hold the majority in the Senate. There's still four more seats outstanding yet that haven't been called yet, but the Republicans have 52 seats where the Democrats only have 44. So Trump, that means that when Trump picks his cabinet, there's going to be nobody to contest it. Trump's going to get all the people he wants in his cabinet, and that's fantastic. The House is still up for grabs. Although the Republicans do have the lead, you need 218 seats to hold the majority. The Republicans are at 205. So they need 13 more. The Democrats are at 189, so they still got some work to do. Hopefully, in the next couple of days, we'll find out, if the Republicans, take a stronghold over the House. If that happens, you got the trifecta. Trump's got open season on all his policies, and that's really going to piss off a lot of Democrats. Now, what did this election come down to? There are a lot of factors, and I feel like no matter what those factors were, and it was a red wave, Rob, absolutely. Now we need to get a red wave up in Canada now. We get those commies out of Canada now, and then we all can be friends again. Because you guys do have the best hunting grounds up there. You can't hunt in Canada when Justin Trudeau's trying to take away everybody's guns. I know you guys are on. I remember when you guys had your trucker convoy that went across the country. That was sweet. I was paying close attention to that. You guys was getting it done. So this basically, in my opinion, looking at the election, this came down to 3 demographic groups. So you had the Latinos. The Latinos turned out for Trump. Why? Why would Trump's trying to deport illegals? Why would the Latinos turn out for Trump? It's very simple. It's a very simple concept. For one, why did they migrate here? To escape socialist dictatorships. Not all of them, but most of them, corrupt governments. So when they get here, and then they start hearing the rhetoric coming from the left, and they go, wait a minute, I've heard this before. I've heard this before. This sounds like the leaders of the countries that I just left. And so that hurt Kamala Harris, because they spew that same kind of rhetoric down in those countries, like Venezuela and El Salvador is not nearly as bad with their new president, but there's still, there's a lot of corruption down there in Central America and in Venezuela, Mexico, in those places. So these people are trying to come to America to better their lives for the most part. Now, the bad apples do weasel their way in there to sneak in. And that's what our real problem is. Now, a lot of people on the Harris campaign were like, oh, he's gonna do, why would they get rid of all the illegals? They're people too. Here's one simple factor that could have prevented all this. What the Harris-Biden campaign should have done while they had the power for the last 4 years was create a mandate, create a memo, create some kind of communication to the Hispanic community and the Latinos, and say, look, if you're illegal and you're in the United States, you've got 60 days from today to get to an immigration office in any of these offices all over America. It doesn't matter which one you go to. Just go to one of them. Get ID'd. We want to know exactly who you are. And then we will give you we'll give you your status to stay here. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that one, Rob. Colin, is that how you're going to start? Is that how you're going to start in the comments already today? You're right, Rob. So the ID was considered. We don't want to have people have IDs because that's oppressive and racist. But that's how they could have avoided having Trump come in and mass migrate people out of here. All we're asking is for these people to they're already here. They're already here. So why not have them go to an immigration office without threat of being kicked out and say, look, you got 60 days. Show up to an immigration office. We'll get your temporary residency. You'll get your ID. So that way you can go get a fucking job. As of right now, if you don't have a temporary ID and to be in the United States, you cannot work in the United States. It's very simple. So yeah, it's going to hurt some of the left with their woke ideologies, but that's what the Biden and Harris administration should have done. Had they really cared about the migrants coming into this country on a humanitarian level, they would have figured a way out. And to me, it's very simple. With me and Shauna, with what we do, we have a lot of illegal immigrants that knock on our door for jobs. A lot of them. It's like there's a whole apartment complex down the road that is full of them. And we have to turn them away.
Some today or yesterday come ask if we were hiring.
Yeah, they do it all the time. And we can't do anything with them. I would love to have some good workers like that, because they're going to come in there and they're going to work, and they're going to come to work every day, which is hard to find. And our job for the people on the floor is not it's not easy. So it would have been nice to hire them, but I can't, because as soon as we run them through the system, they're going to come back bad. And then I just wasted my time. So I blame that on the Biden Harris administration. Now Trump is going to get super aggressive with this, and that's his policy. That's fine. I still think that he should go with the 60-day policy. Let them go let them turn themselves in, get ID'd. I don't need them to go to a court hearing. That's just going to slow down the process. They don't need to go to a court hearing. They just need to show up to immigration so we can positively ID who they are, and get with whatever country they came from and say, hey, I've got so-and-so here, so-and-so. What kind of records you got on them? Let's get the background checks done on them. And if they're clean, let them stay and give them their residency card and let them go to work. If they're dirty, obviously get them out of here. So what will happen is the honest ones will go to the immigration office and get their IDs. The dishonest ones and the criminals will not. So that way, after 60 days, then Trump can go cut ICE loose and say, go get them. Anybody who's left over, they're out. They had their 60-day chance. So that's how I feel that we could handle that better, other than spending a lot of resources hunting people down. That's going to be an expensive thing to do, because these people are going to be very good at hiding. If they can sneak into the country, they can hide. Even though the Biden administration pretty much was putting out welcome mats, like, come on in, guys. Come on in. We got no jobs for you, but you go vote. You go vote. You don't even need ID for that in some states. Just go vote. Screw it. Screw the Constitution. So that's on the immigration side. The Latino vote, the Hispanic vote turned out for Trump. It was big. It helped. And then we go down into the second group, the black men. Trump turned out right around 25% of the black male vote. Shauna, why did that happen? Not saying that because you're black.
Obviously. I mean, that would be racist. I mean, where do we fucking start? I mean, it's so many things. It's not just one. I mean, one, Kamala go ahead.
I was going to try to help you structure this. So, like, when did this shift, start?
I mean, personally, I feel like I don't really feel like at any point the black men were really backing her, to be honest. But I think the nail in the coffin for them was definitely when she had Obama come out and speak specifically to them. And I also just think the whole, like, every time she said something to try to relate herself within the black community, she's been caught in a lie. And
right.
I mean, me personally, from my point of view, I feel like black women were more accepting of it than black men. And even prior to her running for president, even her as a VP, a lot of black men were not a fan of hers, because when it came out that she was over sentencing black men in California when she was a DA or DA, whatever, like nobody like they were not rocking with her then, so I didn't see it changing now. And now you want us to take her even more serious as a president. Like, I just don't think they've ever been really in her corner. If that's not, I mean, if that makes sense. And yes, Rob, she is not a good actor at all, none whatsoever. And she was actually caught in another lie. They said the phone call that she was doing like last night before all the numbers came in, somebody screen recorded or whatever and saw that she wasn't even on the phone with anybody. It's like, you're a habitual liar. So how are we supposed to sit here and say you're standing?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'll send the video to you. But it's just like, even down to the last wire, you're still caught in a lie. So it's just like, we can't trust you. We can't trust that you're going to keep the promises that you're making, specifically to the groups of people that are always oppressed. And that's who you're pandering to. So it was just like, I've never seen them be on board with her, if I can be honest with you. And it's been since she was named as the VP. So to see it coming now, I don't think that was going to change, because nobody's forgotten about that.
I mean, generally, the Democrats will carry the Democrats will generally carry close to 90% of the black vote, and Trump pulled a lot out of that. And
I think it was,
Grant, it was only 25%, but that's significant.
I think it is, just because I feel like a lot of people just we talked about it earlier. At the end of the day, I feel like she really thought people were going to hate him enough to want to vote for her. And it was just like, okay, they shouldn't want to vote for Trump, because who would want to vote for him? He's a racist. He's, a sexual offender, all of these things like that. They tried to tag onto him. And I think she really thought that, okay, if I get on here, I went to HBCU, I'm part black, they should automatically want to vote for me. I'm a black woman. Like, we should be protecting black women. And I think that was the ideology that she had behind her solidifying that vote. But like I said, she never had it even from when she was a VP. So carrying that over to now, and you want us to take you serious, and we haven't seen you in the last 4 years that you were a vice president. How am I supposed to take you serious as a president? And you want my vote because I'm a black man, and my vote means a lot to you. And it was just, it wasn't that, and they weren't going for it.
So it was pretty obvious to the black male that Kamala needed their vote, and so Kamala knew that she wasn't pulling enough out of the black male vote. So then she brings in Barack Obama to basically scold them, and I think that hurt her a lot. Because for one, Obama didn't pan out the way that he was supposed to with the black community. He was supposed to be the savior that changed everything, and we got much of the same as what they've gotten in the past.
I'll put it like this.
You don't want to hear that from him.
Even a lot of, if you talk to people who actually follow politics, that are well diverse and educated in them, a lot of them, like, and I'm speaking specifically for the black community, they will tell you that Obama was a shit president. He did nothing for the black community. And they're still suffering from that even till today. So it to have him up there and to say this and that and blah 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 blah, and oh, you should be ashamed of yourself, and one stimulus check shouldn't swing your vote, and all those things like that. Like, Obama doesn't have the respect in the black community like they thought he did. So in doing that, all of the things that she did to try to pander to them, it just rubbed everybody the wrong way. Like, even think like and I hate to use the word woke because I think it's stupid, but all of the people who were very conscious of their decision making when voting this go round, a lot of them were very pissed and upset that her campaign was, okay, we're going to do a bunch of celebrities and concerts, and we're going to have all these people come out, like prominent celebrities in the black community, and this should get you to want to swing over here and vote for us. A lot of people felt that was disrespectful. And a lot of people felt like, well, wow, is this how you view us? Give us free concerts and our vote is bought for you. So a lot of them felt disrespected because of that. And once again, I will say it till the end of time. I don't care her campaign was ran very arrogantly in the ideology of the people of color group of votes for her, and
I called it.
didn't do her well.
I called it the Harris Waltz Summer Concert Series.
I mean, they had a better lineup than One Music Fest, and they had their 25th anniversary
Hell yeah, they did.
this year. Like, damn.
Okay, so I'm gonna get caught before we continue on. I got to get caught up on. I got to get caught up on a couple of the comments. So Colin he was referring back to the Hispanic Latino vote. He said that let me scroll back up so I don't misquote him. I don't want to be like lamestream media, misquote people. He said, for those of you who don't know habla español, El Salvador is Spanish for the Salvador. Colin, you're so good at Spanish. I didn't know you spoke Spanish. And then he said, how dare the black men not vote for the black, not black lady? So we did find that out. Candace Owens did debunk Kamala Harris is not black, which it doesn't. I don't really care. Like it's irrelevant. But at the same time, like it's interesting because I watched the special of Candace Owens going through her lineage, and Kamala Harris really is white and Indian. Like she faked the whole side of her family. So I thought that was very interesting, even though it doesn't really matter for real. It doesn't matter if she was yellow, orange, green, or gray, or white or black. She's still a shitty politician. So
I'm gonna say it like this: it does matter. It does matter because you tried to make yourself relatable to these people, and you've been lying to them.
She defrauded them. Defrauded.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Like you're trying to make yourself look more relatable so they can understand, oh, I came from this. I came from oppression. I know what it's like to be in your shoes, and you never really have. So it's just like, once again, like all these, like I've been seeing so much on social media, people are like, oh, I don't want to hear any complaints when women doesn't have rights or gas prices and stuff is still the same. And Trump's only looking out for his other counterparts who are just as rich as him. All these things like that. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's out of our hands at this point. We just got to wait and see what happens. But I think, what would it have been like? I mean, we've been seeing so many people say those things, but it's like, have you thought about the fact that everything that she's told you has been a lie? So what were you going to do waking up today had she won? How
right.
That
so well, I'm gonna get into those simple subjects as to what could happen here in a little bit. But Rob brought up a good point, and I'm going to ride with it that, it didn't help because everybody knows that she was at the Diddy parties. So everybody knows that. There's a lot of evidence that puts her there. Hey, the Sarge is here now too. All right. We got everybody in the house today. But I'm going to go on to
that lagged on, Colin.
Right.
Oh man, I can't even. That's hilarious. Okay. Hi, Sarge.
Okay, but so we're going to go into the third group, which is, this one's important, I think. You've got the Catholics and the evangelicals. When she kicked off those two kids and then booted that lady in Jonesboro, Georgia, and then booted the Muslim guy out of the Michigan rally, it looked really bad on her. She lost. And a lot of these guys were coming to bat and they're going, why is she so anti-Christian? Why is she so anti-Muslim? Why is she just anti-God? And that's how she came across. Like somebody who is a godly person or a Christian isn't going to kick other Christians out of their rally. They don't do that. That's just not something they do. Or even to be sympathetic towards the Muslim community, as what Kamala Harris claimed she was still kicking people out. Yeah, she kicked like one of the biggest Muslim reporters out of her rally. So Yeah, yeah, Rob, you're at the wrong rally. That's what she said. Yeah, Colin's right. She pissed off the Christians. It's exactly what happened. So you know what happened? The Catholics and the evangelicals jumped out there and they said, we're going to make our voices are going to be heard. They got more vote out of the evangelicals and Christians than what they ever have. So that's a big that was a big turn for them. And then you got to think some of the Catholics vote Democrat, but not this time. So that helped Trump tremendously. You know, I'd like to think that there was that intervention where all these the Christians woke up and said, "We get this. This is our time. We got to do something for this guy." He took a bullet for us and all that. So let's do something for him. Now, I want to give a big shout out.
Allegedly,
man, that dude got shot. The FBI finally admitted it.
Like hell.
It's facts now.
Like hell. Yeah, listen, we're gonna believe the FBI.
Let me shoot you in the ear and see what you call it.
Okay, we'll see who's got a better aim.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sarge and probably Colin. I highly agree with that. Selena, she is all of that. So I'm gonna give big kudos to Trump Force 47. So those of you who do not know what Trump Force 47 is, it is the like the voter integrity team that Trump put together, and every county had it in America, and so they put this whole strategic plan. I went through the training, so I kind of have a good idea of what they were doing. They had it set up to where everything got documented, noted, recorded, called in, lawyers were involved, and they stopped so much fraud on election day. And obviously the lamestream media didn't want to report on any of that. But I know here in Georgia, we had so much attempted fraud here, but Trump's people caught it. And I think that the last time Trump learned his lesson, and this time he was ready, and he had a flawless plan, and his campaign team had a flawless plan, and it was executed very well. Like people were like the poll location that I voted at, the guy was watching everything. He probably wrote 10 things down in a notebook while I was standing in line. Like these people were not playing.
The church that I went to, them old church ladies were not playing. I would have hated to be in their Sunday school.
Right. Absolutely. So today, after I, done giving Trump Force 47 their props, they deserve it. Now, Biden has already called Trump and has invited him to the White House and has assured a smooth transition, which, as friendly as that conversation went, you know what? I was trying to think of his name all day today, Selena. Scott Presler. I was just telling my dad, that long-haired guy in Pennsylvania, that is the dude who won Pennsylvania for Donald Trump. I don't care what anybody says. Scott Presler has a bright future for the GOP. That guy is damn good at what he does, and he's a great speaker. Dad, Scott Presler. Thank you for bringing that up, because I was trying to figure out. I was trying to remember his name today, and it was just hitting a big brick wall. But Scott Presler, if you guys do not know who that is, go watch his videos. That guy is damn good. But anyway, so Biden has already reached out, and that's why I feel like that maybe Biden kind of helped on purpose, because he's being a little too friendly right now, or maybe his dementia's kicked in. He don't remember who the hell Donald Trump is. I don't know. But now here's some of the things that I feel like that self-inflicted wounds that the Harris campaign kind of did to themselves that were factors in the election. For one, they're communists, so that's strike one. I mean, obviously. So the honesty in their messaging. So I don't know if they realize, but we live in a social media world. We live in a world where everything's recorded and videos are uploaded and things are shared everywhere. So if you're watching CNN or MSNBC and you're just getting your 30-second clips, and me and Shauna, we talk about this all the time. If you go back to the 105th back video that we did, we've been talking about this since the beginning. The media gives you these 30-second clips. So they edit the shit out of them to just get their agenda across. Every news outlet does it, even Newsmax. So it just depends on what their intention with that is. If they're just trying to take sound bites and add them together to make Trump say, Heil Hitler, they could probably make that happen. You're exactly right, Selena. I'm gonna give you props on that. We are a blue collar party, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy about it. It took us a billionaire to teach us how to do it.
It's never the wrong day for a cute shirt, Colin, no matter what day of the week. And it's probably Sunday somewhere around the world.
No, it's not. I promise you it's not. But the media continues to lie to the people. So when you have that, and then you get people that go, man, these guys, this just don't add up. So they go look at the video and they watch the whole clip and they're like, wow, this isn't even close to what the media said. They left out like key parts of the speech or key parts of the statement. And so what happens is, I think the Harris campaign thought that they had 100% of their following brainwashed enough to only listen to CNN and MSNBC. But what happened was the independent voters got smart and kind of veered towards Trump.
Thank you, Selena.
Yeah, and they veered towards Trump to start to, kind of put this together and go, man, the media is lying. And then you had a few liberals that were like, hey, why are these Trumpers so passionate? Why are they so adamant that the media is lying? And then you start looking into stuff. You're like, wow, CNN's been editing and clipping shit for a while now to make Trump look like he's saying worse stuff than what he is. And so people got hip to that. And for like Kamala Harris to go with the Project 2025 thing all the way to Election Day, everybody knows that Trump does not do Project 2025. And he has his own Agenda 47. And if Kamala Harris would have spent less time lying about Project 2025 and more time attacking Agenda 47, she would have had a better shot. But instead,
they want to keep the division, Rob. That's why. Simple. They want to keep the division. That's how they make their money. That's how they keep everybody stupid. The division.
and that's true. And I don't know if any of you are Fox watchers, but my dad is a super Fox hater. But I take Fox with a grain of salt because I know they edit and clip stuff too. I've caught them. So and just to go with what Shauna says, they do it. CNN does it in their own agenda to keep division. They want to keep us angry at each other because you know what? At the end of the day, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and every other major media news outlet is owned by BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. So they're all playing on the same team. So the agenda is in place on purpose. And that's why I don't trust the media at all.
I'll say it like this with the everybody's seen if you've watched it anyways, the interview with the whole dictator thing. They clipped it and it said, oh, okay, I'm going to be a dictator. And that they ran with it. Oh, he just wants to be a dictator. You guys just don't want rights. You don't want this. You don't want that, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you missed the whole segment that he said, but they do it to incite that emotion out of people. And that's how people get tricked every freaking time. And they're stupid because you're not thinking with logic. You're thinking purely based off of emotion. The same thing with the abortion. Like, they're upset that he overturned it, but then they're missing the whole point where he's like, I don't think the government should force anybody to do anything. This should be something that's handled in-house in the state. And
Facts.
people
Those are
seem
facts.
and people seem to like miss that whole concept, because I'm like, you can still get abortions. I know several people who just had some not too long ago. So it's like, if it was really the case where you weren't gonna be able to do this, then you wouldn't be able to do it, and you still can. So when are we gonna wake up and realize that this is a lie? You know, like, not to be determined, Starge, to be determined. As of right now, I still have say so over my uterus, so I think we're okay. Yes, young lady.
But and that's what the media doesn't tell the liberals, is in most states you can have an abortion on a minimum level at least. So it was all, yep, Selena, you're right. All those stations are sinking, every single one of them. And I think Trump actually should look into pulling all their credentials and making them start over. If they want to make news, they got to get it honest. If you're going to call yourself news, you actually have to report the factual news and not just report whatever George Soros tells you to do or whatever Rupert Murdoch tells you to do. It's not going to work like that. Which is why most of the time I have to watch news from 12 different countries just to get the true story, which is ridiculous. So even CNN, they had an analyst on today that I caught a clip of, and I didn't catch his name. I didn't feel like looking it back up, but he came out and he said, we lost. The media contributed to the loss because all we do is lie to the people. I was like, oh, I can't believe that dude just said that. But if I can find that clip, I'll attach it to stuff.
And I find it very interesting, the very few people that she did interviews with that tried to hold her accountable for her policies and stuff like that to get her actual like stance on a lot of the stuff. Those people were attacked, and they were, they don't really respect her, this and that. They interrupted her the entire interview, all of these things like that. So the very few that were trying to actually do a good job as journalists, they were given shit for it. So I found that to be very funny.
I think voters, especially independents, were turned off by her rhetoric, talking about the Nazis and Hitler and all these things that she's been throwing out, fascist and all that. That turned off independent voters. Everyone is tired of hearing the left call the right fascist. It's the most overused word on the planet, and nobody is utilizing the actual definition of fascist except the left. So that's where we're at with that. She came to me when I'm watching Kamala Harris speak. To me, she comes across as fake. I don't believe anything she's saying. I've seen a lot of fake people in my life, probably married a few. And am I supposed to say that?
I agree, Sarge. I agree. Racist and fascist. Yeah, those are two most overly used words from them fucking idiots all day long.
It gets old. It gets old.
It does. I'm black and I'm tired of hearing people be racist. That. I'm so tired of it. Oh God. Oh.
I mean, we have a lot of factual information going on in the comment section right now. Like, it's just getting hammered out. I can't. It's coming out so fast I can't even keep up. They got bored with the word insurrection. They had to come up with some new words. Fascist. Everybody's a fascist. Okay.
You know what I always say? When people start trying to use these big words, I tell them spell it. If you can't spell it, then I don't think we should be using these words. So let's move on.
Right. So then she attacked God. That was a bad move. Tim Walz, he was just too weird to relate to. That was a problem. Tim Walz creeps me out. His wife creeps me out. There's no way that I want to be anywhere near them. Like, I feel like like Tim Walz's wife is going to come up from behind me and give me some chloroform, and I'm going to wake up in a white van down by the river with a bloody stool. That's how I feel like. That's what I feel like is going to happen. Like that family is just creepy as shit.
I think part of her problem with her campaign. I think part of her problem with her campaign too is they tried to make them look like perfect people for America, and that was the fucking problem because they're all a bunch of weirdos. Like, he looks like he is having little diddler parties with children, and his wife knows about it. The motherfucker looks exactly like that. Yeah, so it's hard not to think, well, he might have did this, especially when you have people coming out saying that he did. Like, he looks like that. So
did he or didn't he? Did he or didn't he? I don't know. That's a good one, Rob. You guys using that up in Canada?
All your dad jokes today, and I love it.
Yeah, Rob's on fire today. Everybody, the whole comment section's on fire today. This is the best comment section we've had so far. Hooker turn judge. I feel so much
unity today. This is awesome.
So moving forward, so what do we see going forward for Donald Trump? So the first thing Donald Trump said he was going to do, and no, we didn't talk about the cops in Portland. But so we have moving forward, Donald Trump said he was going to end the wars. He said he was going to do that before he steps foot in the White House. I believe that he is Tim Walz. But I believe he's on his way to doing that already. The head guy of the Houthis, he's already backed off and said, hey, we were just protecting our little boundary, but we're out of here. We're not going to shoot off no more stuff. So you already have the Houthis backing out. Putin's already put out a statement that says, hey, we should probably sit down and have a conversation. And Zelensky's already saying, well, we can't wait for you to solve this problem. So you have all these people in the world already putting their tail between their legs because big bad Donald Trump, the one man on the planet of 8 billion people, has the whole world terrified. And he's like 78 years old. And he tans a lot and just plays golf all day. Like, I think he's the most feared golfer on the planet.
I think we just need to start a poll and see when he's gonna threaten to start bombing places. Like how soon before he starts doing that?
I don't think he's going to. So Iran. So here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this, and I've said this before on my show. Iran came out and said that Donald Trump is not going to affect their livelihood. So I'm going to throw this out there because this is the absolute truth. Iran is that dude at school that's always talking shit all day long, but they ain't really about that life and they're not going to stand on that business. And as soon as you smack them in the face, they're going to go in the corner and cry. That's Iran. And Iran knows that as soon as Donald Trump turns his attention over to them, they're going to go right into that corner and they're going to cry and go, Mr. Trump, don't hurt us. And yeah, I mean, we don't need nothing from Iran. Donald Trump choked them. They were bankrupt before Joe Biden gave them all their money back, but they couldn't afford. Right. So they actually need us. They need to cooperate with us because we don't need what they got, but they need what we got. So it would be in their best interest to just shut up and do what you're told. And I think that's going to happen. At the end of the day, Iran's going to fold because they didn't want no smoke when Donald Trump was president the first time. And they were quiet as a mouse over there because Trump was choking them financially. That's right. We're North Americans. We ain't playing that game. Come up to Canada and see how them desert boys like that frozen tundra. That's right. Ends with I can, not Iran.
That's really what you guys know. I love you guys today. Y'all are like awesome. I'm really enjoying this. This is great.
So Thars brought up that great China is the outlier here. I think China is going to do much of the same. When Trump put those tariffs on last time, which are still on, by the way, they just took it and did it. So I don't see China being much of a problem. They know that if they poke too hard at Trump and we end up into some kind of conflict with them, that Trump will not hesitate to use full force on them. And China knows that their shitty ass ships and airplanes can't handle a dogfight with our boys, especially with Trump increasing the might of our military for the next few years. That's going to be a bad deal for China, and they're going to find out. They're going to find out real fast.
What the Philadelphia mayor said, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
I love
He
that.
found out.
That whole press conference was great. Fuck around and find out. Mommy, what's
and Sarge, you might be right that they could be using others to mess with us, but I think if we the others won't matter. Yeah, and that's where there's going to be no need to do anything. Trump's going to end all these wars, and we're going to have the next, it's going to take him a minute to get them all done. But I would expect within a year, all these major conflicts will be concluded, and they'll be concluded peacefully, and then we'll be able to get the trade going back again. So I just think that's where that's heading. I think Donald Trump has this under control. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Regardless of what anybody says, his international policy was better than any president we've ever had. He knew exactly how to manipulate other countries to do the will of America. And that was by controlling all the natural resources, undercutting the competition, and not allowing countries like Iran to make money off of oil. And it was genius. Russia, the price of the ruble was not worth a whole lot when Trump was president because Trump was choking their economy. And the same thing when Biden became president, all of a sudden the ruble starts gaining value. I wonder why. The sanctions that were supposed to hurt Russia didn't hurt Russia. So, that's what we're looking at with that kind of stuff. And that's right, Robin. He's going to run it like a business. And that's what you have to do. This is a business deal. The United States of America needs run like a business right now. Our finances are fucked up. Elon Musk needs to go in there and trim the fat off of every department. That's going to save taxpayers money. And then we need to go in and really take a look at where our overseas money is going. I think for at least 2 years.
Fuck these corporations. Give this housing back to the regular fucking people. All this renting and shit is high. All that's got to go. All of that has got to go. This is ridiculous. That's what he need to do. First thing, trim off the damn money off these damn rental properties and housing. It's ridiculous. Absolutely not. 29% APR for anything car house is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
First and foremost, that's his first big fucking job. Please.
And he'll get to it, but he's got to control the natural resources first, because everything else will fall in line after that. Because who controls the natural resources controls the world. And that's why you're seeing Europe running through Africa right now, stealing everybody's shit, because they know. And that's what I was getting, that we need to, at least for 2 years, cut off every penny from Europe. I don't want to see not one penny go over the pond, especially for the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, any of that crap over there that we've been funding, that we pay 4.6% of our GDP to. That needs to stop for 2 years. Let them not have any money and see what they'll do with it. Have a good night, Colin. But we need to make a point with Europe. Like, hey, you guys are the ones creating the socialism that's coming over here and poisoning our country. And FEMA is a whole other story. That's just a giant. I don't even know what to call it. It's a scam. They don't do nothing for nobody. Virginia's probably going to go red on the next election. I'll guarantee that. Well, I don't want to guarantee it, but I'll say there's a very good likelihood that Virginia turns red. But yeah, we got to get all the bad spending out. Europe doesn't do us any favors. What do we get out of funding everything in Europe? We don't get shit. And
The
they
same thing we've
benefit
always
from
got out of
everything.
Europe: syphilis.
I didn't get syphilis from Europe. I don't know about you.
That's what America got from. That's what America got from them. Syphilis. It's been shit.
Yeah, but then
the entire time.
But then they came over here and decided they was going to try to pick a fight with George Washington, and we kicked their ass.
We are paying their pensions. Exactly, Rob. That's exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, they could go do gender studies in Pakistan.
We're sitting here fucking funding it. Put it in trash.
One other thing that I'd like to see happen: Trump created stability in the Middle East with the Abraham Accords. That was a genius thing to do. That was very well done, and it worked. I think he needs to go back to that and re-implement and re-implement the Abraham Accords. That's going to create that peace. You're going to get all the Middle East countries to come back into play, and everybody start to follow the rules. So I think that needs to happen. It should be one of the first things that gets done. Well, yeah, Israel just bombed the shit out of Lebanon yesterday, so I haven't really got caught up. I got stuck on election stuff, so I didn't get a chance to really see how that went down or what the targets were or anything. I'm guessing it was probably like military strategic installations. So I mean that's basically the rundown, the summary of what damn near 24-hour election from yesterday. So yeah, I'll guarantee Trump's already been talking to people. Him and Netanyahu are close, so I'll guarantee you they've had a conversation. Netanyahu's already put out a tweet in support of Trump's election. He's been getting a lot of shout outs from people. So, Selena, I'm glad you brought that up because the Ukrainian news has finally admitted that their death toll in the Ukraine is over 1 million people. Now, if you listen to the liberal media tell you, oh, Ukraine's only lost maybe 30,000 people, that's absolutely not true. Russia has said it, in which you can take Russian news with a grain of salt. But Russia has said it, but now Ukraine is backing that up with their news reports. And so what that war, too many people have died. That war's got to end. They got to conclude that. And you're right. So I think last time I saw, there's like the population of Ukraine is only 66 million people. So if 1 million people died, that's a big hunk of the population dead. So you're going to have shortages of people doing certain jobs. And so I think that, the rebuild needs to happen. Zelensky needs to get bent over Donald Trump's knee and get smacked around a little bit, I think, because he's responsible for 1 million dead people.
Let your dad make a paddle for him.
Yeah, right. He probably will put Zelensky on there. Yeah, it was an ugly war. There's a lot of casualties, more than what we think there is. Yeah, and there's resources, but at the same time, there's also the eastern part of the Ukraine that wants to break away. And whether Russia has influenced that or not, we're not going to be able to get Russia out of there without allowing the eastern part of the Ukraine to be their own little sovereign little area. And, let them do it. They don't have enough resources in that part to sustain their livelihood. So they're going to want to partner up with somebody eventually. They're going to want to jump back into somebody's government. Just let them have it. That's the only way this is going to end. And then we need to just let it happen. The United States, we don't really have business in there. Just go in there and make peace and get out. I mean, yeah, so Russia, I don't like the idea that Russia has those annexed lands. But Obama made the deal and gave it to him. That would take a lot of. Russia's not coming off the Crimean Peninsula. They're not. They're military strategic installation right there on Crimea is the perfect spot. Russia knows it. Everybody knows it. They have access to all that waterway there. It was a stupid deal. It was almost as stupid as Biden's deal where he gave Victor Bout back to Russia for stupid Brittany Griner. Almost as bad of a deal as that. But
which I don't fucking understand. She wants to be a boy so bad. Let her stay with the fucking men. Oh, did I say that out loud? That's probably gonna get me canceled.
Selena, I don't know who you are, but you're on top of things. I'll tell you that. The media don't tell you that conflict's been going on for a long time there, and it's just escalated. But you have to read other countries. You have to watch other countries' media to get the facts. They've been picking on each other for a long time in that little area. I'd say let them have their own sovereignty, give them their own little strip of that land, and walk away. Everybody walk away. Eventually, they'll screw it up, and they'll have to go with somebody. Give it to Poland. You know, at Poland, I'll give Poland a lot of props because they are the one country that's stood up and they've said, you know what, I'm not doing all this shit that y'all are doing over here, and they've said, just leave us alone. That's been their pretty much their whole plan. And if Russia comes over here, we're going to get our nukes and move them over by the border. So, yeah, and that's not normal for Poland. Poland's usually kind of a little bit more chilled and laid back and reserved, but they've been kind of aggressive over there. Little Texas. Yeah, but doesn't Alaska have a ton of Russians there? I think they do. No, they have to because that was all. Let me think out. No, maybe not, because before the plates moved, it was all closer to Africa, not Russia. So that's been a recent thing. I don't know. I have to look that one up. Yeah, that's a problem too, Sergeant. I forgot about that. I don't like that the Koreans are sniffing around over there. Russia should not have done that deal with them. I don't like Kim Jong-un. He's unstable. And if you've already killed 1 million Ukrainians, what do you need to bring the North Koreans over there for? It doesn't make any sense. But whatever. I'm not a military strategist. But that's going to be the end of our show today. And we'll be back on, what day is it? Wednesday? Yeah, it is. It is Wednesday. I feel like it's
This
Wednesday.
is what happens when you don't go to work. You don't even know what day it is. Tragic.
I did go to work.
You didn't go to work today.
I did go to work today. I had to drive to Noonan. But so we are going to be back on Sunday. Yeah, Sundays.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Sunday. Sunday's the next show. Shauna Shirt, Sunday Fun Day. All right. So everybody, thanks for jumping in the comments. That was fun. And we will see you guys on Sunday. Peace.
Bye, guys.